Hey there, Jerry Perez. Thank you for being with us on the show today. Now, me and the boys know you quite well, but for those in the audience who might not know you, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, yeah, thanks for having me on, Peter.
No problem.
So my name is Jerry Perez. I am 35 years old. I am a United States Marine Corps veteran. I am the owner and CEO of Civet Media LLC. It is a media production company, currently working to start up local podcasts throughout LA County and Southern California. I'm actually getting ready to start my own podcast myself called The Formation. It is going to be working in tier with a mentorship program I am creating to transition young men into confident, intelligent, and assertive young men. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Love having fun, and thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for coming in once again. Just a couple of questions. When did you serve in the military? What was your rank?
I served from 2005 to 2011 in active service. I left as an E5 sergeant. My MOS is 3531 motor transport operator, and I have been on 2 combat deployments.
And where were the combat deployments?
Both times in Iraq.
In Iraq. And so you guys were basically there as a peacekeeping force for the most part, or were you involved in direct combat?
So we were a peacekeeping initiative. My first time, I was with First Light Armor Reconnaissance Battalion, and I was located in Al Anbar, Providence, at the Forward Operating Base of Rawa. During that time, I was a part of Quick Reaction Force, that's a QRF, and I was a driver of a AMK-23, that's an armored truck. And our basic responsibility was we would go out and patrol the oil fields and react to any threats that would come onto the FOB.
Okay. And your job day to day was basically just to do that, to respond to these incidents, to do the patrols and such.
Correct. Be on standby. If we get shot at, we move.
All right. Sounds good. And obviously you saw combat on your tours. What was it like having insurgents as an enemy compared to what it may be like, fighting like an army, a force?
Well, the best way I can say to relate to all of you and your young viewers is have you ever gotten into a fist fight or in a conflict one-on-one with someone?
Sure. Yeah, I've been.
So what you're experiencing is you're experiencing a rush of adrenaline and you're feeling the stress and you have a bit of tension going on. Think that and multiply by 100. So that's the best way to describe it. Fortunately, we're conditioned to handle this amount of stress and we're able to move efficiently. The entire experience was heart racing, very intense, but I had my brothers with me and we survived this whole interaction. So yeah, intense, high speed, very motivating. And life-changing, I will say that. It has changed my perspective on a lot of situations, especially what goes on here at home. A lot of people take for granted this calm that you currently have and have a dissociation with what actual real suffering looks like.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I felt that more in this last week looking at, some of what has happened in Afghanistan and especially, the people there, what they're experiencing, this stuff happening in the airport, of course. You sometimes forget that there is that much suffering in the world and that it happens all the time. Um, so just trying to move down the list here. How would you describe your experience in the service?
A blur. It was a blur. So the Marine Corps, you're gonna suffer, but you're gonna have fun doing it, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So I would say that I absolutely love my time in the Marine Corps. It was the worst time of my life and the best time of my life. Um, very rigid, very structured, very high disciplined. All of my best memories are there. From messing around and getting into bro stuff with your bros. And just overall, it's made me the man I am today. So I accredit everything that I have become to my success, my thought process, and my unwavering and unbreakable will to the Marine Corps. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would recommend to any young man that wants to bring out their peak potential to join this service. Something that I do need to encourage young men, though, is ensure that you keep your network and you keep in connection with your brothers. Because once you do leave the service, you're on your own, which all men, we are on our own. But you got to remember you have a brotherhood and you got to maintain contact with your brotherhood so you don't lose yourself. So that's my feelings on it. Yeah, loved it.
All right. Yeah. Just a little bit further down that line. Is there a moment, a positive moment or experience that you think back on most when you look at your time in the military?
There are a number of them. So as you would know from yourself, young men have a habit of getting into mischief or
Sure.
trouble or getting into situations where you got to think quick and on your feet. Marines are notorious for this. So just experiences in the barracks, experiences being out in town with your brothers, getting into trouble, having a good time. These are the best times, I would say. The times when you're suffering together, the times when you're having fun together, and the time where you're tested as a man, when you get into the thick of it and you're in a situation where everything is against you, but you overcome it and you win. The winning is the best part of it. I would say, no, I would encourage everyone watching this, and especially you, Peter, to overcome the fear that you feel and the hesitance and just freaking jump in. You're at the top of the cliff, you're hesitant, you're anxious, just freaking do it. Just jump. Just jump, land in the water, and have fun.
Beautiful. And something popped into my head as you're talking about this. What reason did you have to join the military? Like, what was your drive to do that?
So when I joined the military, the Twin Towers just happened. 9/11 just happened. And so I felt, as they say, I felt the call. I heard the call. I saw that we were going to war, and I come from a really roughneck family. I could see in myself that, there wasn't anything else that I had interest in. And in my heart, I knew I was a warrior. So I decided to take the warrior's path. I decided to push myself and go the hardest path. And when I accomplished boot camp, I have never felt more pride and success in my life because I overcame one of the hardest obstacles that this country can put you in. So the main reason why I do it is because I wanted to prove myself. I want to set myself apart from my peers and my community. And I now reap the benefit of that today.
All right. Well, yeah, that's a lovely answer. I think a lot of soldiers in that time would reflect your experience that the Twin Towers fall, 9/11 happens, and you feel an urge, to protect your country, to also answer the call of your country that needs defense in this dire time. Since you are a veteran of Middle Eastern conflicts, how have the recent developments in Afghanistan, also in Iraq as well, affected you? Also, follow up: have people in your military circles expressed frustration given what has happened in Iraq since we have departed, and now what is happening in Afghanistan?
So there's two answers to this that I have to touch on. Directly, I'm experiencing disappointment because what you are seeing right now is what happens when you implement a half-assed solution to a very, very complex situation. The manner in which we pulled out and so quickly and with little setup for success for the locals, a lot of folks are going to die from this and have been killed. This is a clear case of negligence and indifference that has affected countless families. There is no excuse for this situation. This is gross negligence at its best. And leadership needs to be held accountable for this. Indirectly, in doing with my community, there's a sense of what the hell did we do this for? So we put all this time and effort into this and we just pull out, and then everything you built up over these years has now fallen apart. It is completely meaningless now.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we say in the Marine Corps, embrace the suck. There's nothing we can do about the situation now. The milk has been spilled.
Right.
So now, all you can do now is take preventive measures and ensure that something like this doesn't happen again. I encourage you all to speak out on the situation going on. Do give your opinion on that. You are due that opinion. I myself find this situation completely intolerable. But there's nothing I can do to directly affect this at this moment. So I'm going to focus on my individual purpose, work to build up young men in the area, and ensure that we make better decisions in the future.
Yeah, no, that's about what I expected you to say, but hearing it doesn't make it any easier. What do you think of the comparison being made between this recent fall of Kabul and Afghanistan to the fall of Saigon in 1975? Do you think that that's a reasonable comparison?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, no problem. What do you think of the comparison being made between the fall of Kabul in Afghanistan and the fall of Saigon in 1975?
Can you give me some context on that situation? I'm not too familiar with that.
Yeah, so in 1975, I believe this is Vietnam, right? That would have been Vietnam. Saigon is a major city in Vietnam that American forces were holding on to. They had to rapidly evacuate when enemy forces were approaching. They lost the city very, very quickly. And there was a lot of problems getting people who had helped us in Saigon out of Saigon before the enemy arrived. And I'm hearing a lot of people, newscasters and such, make the comparison between these two things. And I was wondering if you had any insight into that.
Well, given your description of that situation, this does sound like an accurate comparison. With the limited knowledge that I have on that situation and what I know to be going on right now, that sounds very accurate. Make no mistake, this whole situation solely rests on leadership and the individuals who decided to make this piss poor decision and get all these people killed. You cannot bring these people back to life, and the manner in which they have been killed, there's no doubt in my mind that it was brutal and they were made examples of.
Yeah.
So the best thing we can do right now, adapt. It's not going to help anyone by dwelling on this situation. You now have to take action and correct the situation. I do not have an answer on what to do right now. It's going to have to be up to all of you to make up for yourself. But what I do encourage you, and especially for young individuals your age, begin networking amongst yourself. Don't rely on others. Rely on your network and start building what I like to call your packs. Start networking in your community and start building your community. If you see something wrong, speak out on it. If you have a solution to correct the problem, implement the solution. You are not going to be liked by everyone, and you are not going to win over everyone, but you must always do the right thing. Always conduct yourself in an honest manner and always work to do the right thing. So given this situation, learn from it, embrace the suck of it, embrace the pain of it, and move forward.
All right. That's wonderful. Just one final question for you. we got involved in this conflict in Afghanistan, also in Iraq, as a result of the 9/11 attacks. Do you think that, given all the time that has passed, um, we have stayed true to that initial purpose of defending America from terrorist attacks, or do you think it has transitioned into something else?
Well, listening to your statement, I don't think that's an accurate depiction of what has happened.
Okay, perfect.
So that, in my opinion, the whole terrorist narrative is just a means to influence people by fear, to get people to co-sign to something like fear. This whole situation, if I had to say anything, it's not justified. It's not justified. Trying to think of this one. I would have to say that this whole thing, it has no meaning. It has no meaning. This is not a direct threat to the nation, and we have to work to ensure situations like this do not happen again. I do think this whole thing was a waste of time, a waste of resources, a waste of lives, a terrible waste of lives. And we have to ensure situations like this do not happen again. We do need to, as a people, rethink our tactics on how we correct situations like this. Something I've seen very much in the activist and organizer communities, they waste a lot of time and energy with actions that do not cause direct change. So I would encourage everyone to begin discussing their tactics and start actually coming up with viable solutions. Because the one thing that you cannot get back in this life is time. Do not waste your time or be distracted doing meaningless actions. So that would be my best takeaway from this situation.
All right. Well, Jerry, you've been very eloquent. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I know you're very busy. I appreciate you doing this. I just wanted to, especially before I go in and talk about this tonight, get a little bit of perspective from the veteran side of things, how this group is feeling about what is happening currently. So I really appreciate you taking your time to do this with me.
Oh, thank you. And I do want to make clear, just a quick disclaimer. These opinions and views are my own, and I do not speak on behalf of my community.
Of course. And thank you again so much. I hope we continue to work together and build this little community that we've built with SitRep Media. So we'll be signing off. Any final thoughts? Any final words you want to give?
Thank you for your time, Peter. I encourage you all to stay positive, stay motivated, and Semper Gumby.
Semper Gumby.